What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Wow, look at this. We got the cat with us. This is a donation request. This is for Eric. This is the King's X self-titled album. That's what we're getting into. We are starting it today. Cool. So if you're new here, please subscribe. Check out my videos, all kinds of videos, reaction videos, bass videos, music videos. Check it out. If you like the channel, all kinds of ways to support the channel. You can hit super thanks underneath this video. You can hit me direct in the description. I got PayPal, Cash App, Venmo, Amazon wishlist, mailing address, and I do donation requests just like this one. So if there's something you want me to watch, listen to, talk about, hit me direct, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo in the notes section. Leave a link, leave a description. Let me know what you want the video to be on, and I'll make the video. You can also email me at jpanreadsemail@gmail.com. Thank you guys. Everything's in the description. Thank you. All right. Yes, the cat's here and the TV is on, and it is nighttime. I feel like it's been a while since I've filmed at night. All right, so what's happening here? King's X, fourth album, 1992 released. And I've done a couple of tracks off of this, right? I've done, I think, Prisoner and Not Just for the Dead. Vaguely remember liking Not Just for the Dead. Okay, album marked the end of the band's relationship with producer Sam Taylor. This is the last one with Sam Taylor. Okay. Guitar World ranked King's X number 15 on their list of the 30 greatest rock guitar albums of 1992. Okay. Bass guitar, vocals, guitars, dulcimer, sitar, Concert Mate 650. Oh, so it's like one of these cheap guys, these little guys that are cheap or whatever. Maybe they're not, some of these things get crazy on eBay or Reverb or wherever you go, Okay. And Eric came in with an email. Wiki sucks for info on King's X. I know you like to do album info videos. And there's a great book, King's X, The Oral History. I cut and pasted part of the chapter on here. All right, so here we go. The story behind the band's self-titled fourth studio album, their first solely for Atlantic Records, released March 10, 1992. Jerry Gaskill. Going to Atlantic only, it was almost like going from the minor leagues to major leagues, Ty Tabor. Every single album, the deal was much bigger. From album one all the way up to this point, by the time we got to the fourth one, the deal was huge. It was a large amount of money making an album and doing videos and stuff. We were now in the hundreds of thousands of dollars to do an album. So things were getting massive. We were signing merchandise deals that were massive for hundreds of thousands of dollars. Numbers that we were hearing being thrown around were beyond our wildest dreams. Megaforce let us do our thing. Megaforce signed us because they liked what we were doing already. They didn't really want to affect that or change that, but they didn't really know what to do with us because it wasn't their normal thing. But they were happy we were not in their normal thing, so they let us be. First three albums, we handed them whatever we had, and they put it out. There was no involvement with the label in choosing songs or what the album was going to be. We sort of all had that idea that that was our deal, that we could turn in whatever we wanted to. When we got strictly with Atlantic, they're not a hands-off company. Especially when big money starts getting involved, yes. Suddenly everybody there is involved. But the thing is, you want everybody there involved so that it will work. It became corporate moving into Atlantic. It became big machine money and teams of people. I remember being in, I think it was Doug Morris's office, all of us, and somehow the conversation got to the point where Sam said, "I'm indebted to you for life now." Sam, that's the producer? Yeah. And I think that had something to do with being on Atlantic. But I remember Sam saying that, and I'm going, whoa. Now I'm not saying that. I'm not indebted to anybody for life. Ty Tabor. I thought Doug Morris was amazing and a great supporter for us. And so was Tunk Aram, who is our A&R guy, who was the number one A&R guy at Atlantic since the very beginning. Tunk was our guy and Doug was our guy. Doug believed and wanted us on the label for credibility. He wanted us on the label for all the amazing press and cred. They really liked having King's X on the label because King's X was getting a whole lot of really good press and really good props from all over the industry, and they felt proud having us. Cool. Eddie Trunk. I left Megaforce around 1990. King's X would continue on, and then King's X would Sieg. I never know how to say this word because this isn't like segue or Sieg, I suppose, whatever. Would Sieg directly over to being on Atlantic. But to this day, I'm still in touch with the guys. Ty said, we loved being on Megaforce because Megaforce was in cooperation with Atlantic. So everything we put out had the Atlantic label symbol on it, along with Megaforce. It was considered Megaforce Atlantic, even though we signed with Megaforce all the way from the beginning. So we had this association with Atlantic, but we weren't just on Atlantic only. Little known to us, Megaforce has a deal with Atlantic, apparently, that after certain options of whatever, they could buy a band or take them if they want them fully on Atlantic. Wow. And that's what happened to us. We actually didn't pursue that. It just happened to be something that Atlantic wanted. It happened while we were recording the fourth album because we were in the studio recording when our manager wanted to make an announcement. He said, just to let you know, you are now officially on Atlantic Records. We were like, what? He was like, yeah, they decided to take you off of the Megaforce Atlantic deal and make it solely Atlantic. We had no idea. Doug immediately said, I want the old Atlantic symbol on our albums, the one that is no longer being used. Yeah. Just classic, type of thing. Doug Pinnick. I do remember asking Atlantic to give us the logo that they had for Ray Charles back in the 60s. We were looking at pictures to see what kind of cover we wanted. I remember when I saw the little girl under the table with the bread and wine, I thought, that is the greatest picture I've ever seen. That's interesting. It had so much symbolism. Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah. I asked the guy, the artist, Randy Rogers, to spill the wine and the little girl would be picking up the crumbs under the table. There's a scripture in the Bible that says that when Jesus was at these rich people's house and they were eating, some poor man came and asked for some food and they turned him away. And Jesus said, even the crumbs under the table, the dogs eat, basically. I forgot exactly what it was, but it was sort of like, hey, have some sympathy, bitch. So that picture was a little girl under the table with the crumbs. I wanted the wine to be spilled because I kind of wanted it to be a little sacrilegious because that was basically the bread and wine that Jesus did, the whole sacrament thing. I kind of wanted it fallen and the wine dripping to say I'm not completely into this anymore. It had a little symbolism for me personally. I really pushed hard for this particular cover. I remember I also asked for our album not to have our name on the front cover like Led Zeppelin 4. I thought it would be really cool, but Atlantic said it has to be somewhere on the front cover because they're all about marketing. So they put the King's X logo in the tile on the floor, a little one, where you could see it, where the little girl's hand is, you can see the King's X logo. I even have the painting at my house. The 4 paintings that we had for the first 4 records, each of us has one. Sam has, I think, Out of the Silent Planet. Jerry has Faith, Hope, Love. I think Ty has Gretchen, and I have the 4th one. And they're huge pictures, framed and everything. Cool. Ty Tabor. I remember us all being in agreement and thinking it was not that unusual to call the album King's X. White Album is not called the White Album. It's just the Beatles' self-titled album. And we called it the White Album. And it has been deemed that since. But it came out as just the Beatles. There have been a whole lot of albums like that. Led Zeppelin 4 is not Led Zeppelin 4. It's just untitled, right? So we probably couldn't think of a good title and said, why don't we do that this time? But honestly, I don't remember. The recording was the same as usual. It was hard work. It was stressful. Always kind of like walking on eggshells working with Sam because you never knew what was going to set him off and how far off he was going to go. He was a time bomb waiting to go at any time. And you always felt that pressure. What's going on with that? Why? Oh boy. There was always that working with him, that pressure, horrible pressure. But it was the same as usual, except I found myself feeling like we were being pushed into some molds that we had created by the first 3 albums of what we were supposed to be. And I felt that was a mistake. And this is where I started becoming very unhappy with things and started voicing it, saying, I feel like we're starting to imitate ourselves now. Yeah, okay. Because we don't know what else to do instead of trying to reach for new things that we don't know what it's going to be. Okay, yeah. This is how we came up with this, especially with like tons of money on the line, right? All of a sudden the numbers are getting bigger for them, right? That makes sense. This is how we came up with this in the first place, not imitation or setting rules for who we were supposed to be. It was not knowing who we were going to be and going for it. And I felt we were losing touch with that on the 4th album. Although it has moments and some highlights, and I was proud of the album overall, it was yet another one where time constraints, pressure from Atlantic, things were just different. I wasn't quite as happy with that one. Wow. All right, Doug says, I don't remember a whole lot about recording that album. Ty and I both at that point were writing almost complete demos. Ty's were always perfect and complete, really. There was nothing for King's X to do but record them. I had worked very hard at these tunes I had written also, so I think it was more like all of us were going into the studio and just recording them, doing our thing. I do like most of that record, lots of good songs. Okay, cool. Yeah, this is cool. This is cool to read, for sure. All right, The World Around Me starts it off, and it's a short one. It's the shortest one in the album, so I'm going to just do it. Perfect. All right, The World Around Me, let's do it. Bam.
Down the street where nobody walks, nobody can hear. Started listening to a sound so clear.
See, now that's like that bass tone.
Incredible scene, I had to believe. I saw a difference to the way I see. The mystery said, come and see.
Grindy, right? Yeah, vocals, yep. Nice. Interesting.
I started to laugh, but a grin took its place, and my heart beat louder like it never did before. I saw things that I never saw before in this world around me.
Yeah, guitar work, yep.
I couldn't see how this could be an accident. I can't resist. I wanna see more.
This is an interesting little progression right here, right? Yeah, that's interesting. Ah, okay. Short little solo part. That really sounded like a mic on an amp in a room. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I dig it. That's cool. Yeah, I like it. I definitely like it. And it sounds really good. It does. It sounds really good. Yeah, you can tell that they got just the bigger machine behind them. Just the sound quality is there. It's great. Guitars sound great. Right up front, it sounds like it's a very, guitar driven, guitar forward album for sure. Vocals are great. Doug sounds great, right? Everything sounds really good. His bass tone, right? Because we had those other couple of songs where I'm like, okay, his bass tone, it was like earlier album stuff, right? But this is better. This is way better. Just like makes more sense. It's just more of a grindy type of sound, but it's not like super out there. All right. It's still kind of supportive. The guitar is definitely the main instrument on here, aside from vocals. Yeah, I like it. It's a good opener actually. I think it's a good opener. Yeah, the King's X logo on here is really small. Like you can practically miss it. I mean, I know that like there's a bit of focus on it because right, the kid's hand goes to it and all that, but if you didn't know what it was, you wouldn't necessarily know, right? Yeah, I'd say that's a good compromise because they didn't want it on there at all. And I mean, it's pretty small considering the size of the whole album. It's an alright cover. It's fine. Yeah, I get the whole symbolism thing. That makes sense, right? Cool. There it is. All right. Prisoner. The cat is somewhere. Cat is somewhere. Prisoner is up next. I have done this one before, so this will be my second time hearing it. Cool. All right. I'll catch you then later.